Hey friends, welcome back to A Simple Truth. How would you like to finish up Exodus? Because that's what we're going to be doing today. So it feels like we just started this, and yet we're moving through at a pretty good pace. So we've looked at a lot of the fashioning. By fashioning, I mean the priestly garments, the ephod, the breastplate. We've looked at the tabernacle building. We've looked at the Ark of the Covenant. We've looked at lampstands and tables and utensils and so many different things. The last things, so we've had plans for all those, and then we've built all of them. The only things that have left to be built, at least according to Exodus 39, is the ephod and the breastplate. And we spoke about those before. Again, that combination really being the representation of the tribes of Israel, so that when the priests go in, they have the prayers of their people essentially covering their hearts. So we're going to look at the actual creation of that today. And then we'll see all of that together. So the full assembly of the entire tabernacle and what that looks like. We've talked about individual pieces of that all together. And today we actually get to see here's what that whole thing looks like. So we'll take a look at that. Again, Exodus 39 and 40 is where we're going to be. So chapter 39. Of the blue, purple, and scarlet thread, they made garments of ministry for ministering in the holy place, and they made holy garments for Aaron, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He made the ephod out of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and of fine woven linen, and they beat the gold into thin sheets and cut it into threads to work it in with the blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and fine linen into artistic designs. They made shoulder straps for it to couple it together. It was coupled together at its two edges. An intricately woven band of his ephod that was on it was of the same workmanship, woven of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and of fine woven linen, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And they set onyx stones enclosed in settings of gold. They were engraved as signets are engraved, with the names of the sons of Israel. He put them on the shoulders of the ephod as memorial stones for the sons of Israel, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he made the breastplate, artistically woven like the workmanship of the ephod, of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and of fine woven linen. They made the breastplate square by doubling it. A span was its length and a span width when doubled. And they set it in 4 rows of stones. A row with a sardius, a topaz, and an emerald was the first row. The second row was a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. The third row was a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. The fourth row, a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They were enclosed in settings of gold in their mountings. And there were 12 stones, according to the names of the sons of Israel, according to their names, engraved like a signet, each one with its own name, according to the 12 tribes. And they made chains for the breastplate at its ends, like braided cords of pure gold. They also made 2 settings of gold and 2 gold rings, and put 2 rings on 2 ends of the breastplate. And they put the 2 braided chains of gold and the 2 rings on the ends of the breastplate. The 2 ends of the 2 braided chains they fastened into 2 settings and put them on the shoulder straps of the ephod in the front. And they made 2 rings of gold and put them in the 2 ends of the breastplate, on the edge of it, which was on the inward side of the ephod. Then they made 2 other gold rings and put them on the 2 shoulder straps underneath the ephod toward its front, right at the seam above the intricately woven band of the ephod. And they bound the breastplate by means of its rings to the rings of the ephod with a blue cord, so that it would be above the intricately woven band of the ephod, and the breastplate would not come loose from the ephod, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He made the robe of the ephod all woven work, all of blue, and there was an opening in the middle of the robe, like an opening in a coat of mail, with a woven binding all around the opening, so that it would not tear. And they made the hem of the robe pomegranates of blue, purple, and scarlet, and of fine woven linen. And they made bells of pure gold, and put the bells between the pomegranates on the hem of the robe all around between the pomegranates, a bell and a pomegranate, a bell and a pomegranate, all the way around the hem of the robe to minister in, as the Lord had commanded Moses. They made tunics, artistically woven of fine linen, for Aaron and his sons, a turban of fine linen, exquisite hats of fine linen, short trousers of fine woven linen, and a sash of fine woven linen, made with blue, purple, and scarlet thread, made by a weaver, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then they made the plate of the holy crown of pure gold and wrote on it an inscription like the engraving of a signet, Holiness to the Lord. And they tied it to a blue cord to fasten it above the turban, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Thus all the work of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting was finished, and the children of Israel did according to all the Lord had commanded Moses. So they did. And they brought the tabernacle to Moses, the tent and all its furnishings, its clasps, its boards, its bars, its pillars, and its sockets, the covering of rams' skins dyed red, the covering of badger skins, and the veil of the covering, the ark of the testimony with its poles and the mercy seat, the table, all its utensils, and the showbread, the pure gold lampstand with its lamps, the lamps set in order, all its utensils, and the oil for light, the gold altar, the anointing oil, the sweet incense, the screen for the tabernacle door, the bronze altar, its grate of bronze, its poles and all the utensils, the laver with its base, the hangings of the court, its pillars and its sockets, the screen for the gate, its cords and all its pegs, all the utensils for the service of the tabernacle, for the tent of meeting, and the garments of ministry, to minister in the holy place, the holy garments for Aaron the priest, and his sons' garments, to minister as priests. According to all the Lord had commanded Moses, so the children of Israel did all the work. Then Moses looked over all the work, and indeed they had done it as the Lord had commanded. Just so they had done it. And Moses blessed them. Chapter 40. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, On the first day of the first month you shall set up the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. You shall put it in the ark of testimony. You shall put in it the ark of testimony, and partition off the ark with the veil. You shall bring in the table and arrange the things that are to be set in order on it, and you shall bring the lampstand and its lamps. You shall also set the altar of gold for the incense before the ark of the testimony, and put up the screen for the door of the tabernacle. Then you shall set the altar on its burnt offering before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. And you shall set the laver between the tabernacle of meeting and the altar, and put water in it. You shall set up the court all around and hang up the screen at the court gate. And you shall take the anointing oil and anoint the tabernacle and all that is in it. And you shall hallow it out and all its utensils, and it shall be holy. You shall anoint the altar of the burnt offering, all its utensils, and consecrate the altar. The altar shall be most holy. And you shall anoint the laver in its base, and consecrate it. Then you shall bring Aaron and his sons to the door of the tabernacle of meeting, and wash them with water. You shall put the holy garments on Aaron, and anoint him, and consecrate him, that he may minister to me as a priest. And you shall bring his sons, and clothe them with tunics. You shall anoint them as you anointed their father, that they may minister to me as priests. For their anointing shall surely be an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations. Thus Moses did, according to all that the Lord had commanded him. So he did. And it came to pass in the first month of the second year, on the first day of the month, that the tabernacle was raised up. So Moses raised up the tabernacle, fastened its sockets, and set up its boards, put in its bars, and raised up its pillars. And he spread out the tent over the tabernacle, and put the covering of the tent on top of it, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He took the testimony and put it into the ark, inserted the poles through the rings of the ark, and put the mercy seat on top of the ark. And he brought the ark into the tabernacle, hung up the veil of the covering, and partitioned off the ark of the testimony, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He put the table in the tabernacle of meeting, on the north side of the tabernacle, outside the veil. And he set the bread in order upon it before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He put the lampstand in the tabernacle of meeting, across from the table, on the south side of the tabernacle. And he lit the lamps before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then he put the gold altar in the tabernacle of meeting in front of the veil, and he burned sweet incense on it, as the Lord had commanded. He hung up the screen at the door of the tabernacle, and he put on the altar of burnt offering before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting, and offered it in the burnt offering and the grain offering, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He set the laver between the tabernacle of meeting and the altar, and put water there for washing. And Moses, Aaron, and his sons would wash their hands and their feet with water from it. Whenever they went into the tabernacle of meeting, and whenever they came near the altar, they washed as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he raised up the court all around the tabernacle and the altar, and hung up the screen of the court gate. So Moses finished the work. Then the cloud covered the tabernacle of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter the tabernacle of meeting because the cloud rested above it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Whenever the cloud was taken up from above the tabernacle, the children of Israel would go onward in all their journeys. But if the cloud was not taken up, then they did not journey till the day that it was taken up. For the cloud of the Lord was above the tabernacle by day, and fire over it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys. So that is Exodus. So now that we've finished that off, I think that it was the end of Exodus is awesome. And I think it's a great example of how we should strive to live, right? Of recognizing, is God going to have me move in this place? Is God going to have me stay in this place? Am I living day to day according to his word and according to what he wants through his spirit in my life? And I know I keep talking about my daughter, but I think that's the one thing that I would wish for her. And maybe I've said that before. So maybe it's one of the many things that I would wish for her, is that she knows that God will light her way if she's willing to listen and get into the word and follow that journey that he has for her and has for all of us. So as always, thank you so much for joining, and hopefully we will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.